I'm gonna make pumpkin cinnamon rolls because I have starter that is lovely and ready to be used, and I need to make something with it. So today that thing is pumpkin cinnamon rolls.
So first you're going to start with half a cup of water. And then you're going to add half a cup of starter. And then 4.5 cups of flour. Now this recipe does call for all-purpose flour. I used bread flour because I usually have more of that on hand, but either is okay. Also, don't mind my moving lips as I'm baking. I originally was going to talk to you while I was baking, but then it was turning into like a 20-minute long video, so now we're doing a voiceover. And then you'll add half a cup of oil. The recipe calls for melted coconut oil, but I used avocado oil. And then half a cup of pumpkin puree. There is a recurring theme of half cup measurements in this recipe, but honestly that just makes it easy, so I'm not mad about it. And 1 tablespoon of pumpkin pie spice. I also changed directions because I realized how terrible that lighting was, so you're welcome. And then, I bet you can't guess, it's half a cup of honey. If you do a little dance like that, it definitely makes the honey taste better.
Now this this recipe calls for adding all of this, stirring it together, and the next day putting the eggs in. I tried that with the other cinnamon rolls and it was very difficult to incorporate, so I'm just gonna throw it all in because when I've done brioche bread in the past, that has milk and eggs and other things like that in it, and so I don't have a problem leaving that out on the counter. It never makes it sick or anything, so that's what we're gonna do.
So here I added 2 eggs. One teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and half a teaspoon of salt.
Now I'm gonna put this in my stand mixer until it passes the window pane test.
Okay, so the lighting is even worse over here. But we're gonna put this bowl on here. Lock it. And let her rip. Oh my gosh, look at that pumpkin color coming together. It might be a little too wet. I may need to add some more flour. I'm not sure.
I had to make myself stop watching the dough and seeing if it was forming because it's kind of like a watched pot. So I'm gonna do some dishes and then we'll check back on. I'm gonna see if I can do this one-handed. So it has been 5 minutes and it is pretty, oh yeah, I can definitely tell that is not ready, and it is really wet, so I think I am gonna add like another half a cup of flour in there and we'll see what happens.
No more dishes to do, so now we wait.
Okay, I'm gonna try to show you this. Normally I would not break off a piece of dough for this, but you can. So, can you see? I don't know if you can see with the lighting. No, that's terrible. Haha. How it's like see-through. So, I ended up adding like another cup of flour, I think, to it. I don't know if it would have eventually come together without that. Like if I just kept kneading it, but my mixer that I have is not a very heavy duty one, I think is the problem. And so one broke, it overheated because I made bread in it all the time. So it's more like 5.5 cups in here. I'm gonna let this long ferment overnight. and actually probably even longer than that because I work tomorrow. So I probably won't get to these cinnamon rolls until tomorrow night. So maybe we'll have them tomorrow night for dessert or something. So there it is, finished. Just gonna cover it with my handy dandy lid until tomorrow. Okay, so we are on the next day. I am home from work. I have been home for a little while, and I've actually got all the cinnamon rolls made. I rolled them out, did all the things. They're sitting right here baked. So I'm gonna show you footage of that, and then I'm gonna make the icing, and we're gonna enjoy these things. I'm so excited. They look really delicious, so here's hoping that they turn out.
So here is our dough. I'm gonna sprinkle some flour and just scrape the dough out onto the counter, which was quite difficult because it was kind of sticking to the bowl. And then I just took my rolling pin and rolled it out, which this took a lot longer than I anticipated to get it as thin as I really wanted. And then I took butter, pumpkin puree, brown sugar, pumpkin pie spice, a couple other spices because I didn't have enough pumpkin pie spice. Mix that together and spread it out. And then this is actually my favorite part. So instead of rolling it and then cutting it, I like to take a pizza cutter and cut it first. I feel like it just doesn't smush it down as much as when you cut it after it's all rolled together. So this is my preferred method, but of course you could do it the traditional way if you wanted. Then it calls for adding heavy cream to the top. I didn't have heavy cream, but I did have milk, so that's what we used. And oh my gosh, look at that finished goodness. And then the icing is just 6 ounces of cream cheese, half a cup of heavy cream. Again, I did not have heavy cream, so I used milk again. Half a cup of maple syrup, plus a little extra. Two teaspoons vanilla extract. And then just mix until it comes together. It does take quite a while, and a whisk will help it incorporate better, but it will eventually come together. And then just pour over top. So, so good.
Da-da-da. Yum. Hopefully. So that's how I make pumpkin cinnamon rolls, apparently, because that was the first time I've ever done it. So I'm going to taste these, and hopefully they'll be delicious, and hopefully you enjoyed this video.